Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on angle of elevation. Trigonometry is a very powerful tool that allows us to solve many real-world problems. This video will demonstrate how the angle of elevation can be used to solve such problems. So let's look at what the angle of elevation means or what it entails. Imagine there's an observer here on the ground, and the observer is looking at this bird in the sky. So this is called the sight line, or the line of sight. That's the line along which the observer looks. This is the horizontal, which is parallel to the ground. Those two lines here form the angle of elevation. So that's why it's called the angle of elevation, because the observer looks up, looking up in that direction. So that's why it's called angle of elevation. So let's have a look at how we can use the angle of elevation to solve some real-world problems. The angle of elevation of a building is 40 degrees. If the observer is 30 meters from the building, find the height of the building to 2 decimal places. So the observer is here. Okay, so if we call that O, that's where the observer is. The angle of elevation is 40 degrees, and the observer is 30 meters from the building. What's the height of the building? If we remember from previous videos, tan of an angle is opposite over adjacent. So tan 40 is h over 30. So h, if we multiply both sides by 30, h equals 30 times tan 40. So h is 25.17 meters. You just use your calculator the same way we did in the previous videos, and that gives us h is 25.17 meters, which is the height of the building, and we have 2 decimal places. Example 2. The angle of elevation of a tree is 34 degrees. If the observer is 26 meters from the tree, find the height of the tree to 2 decimal places. So this is similar to the previous example. Here's the angle of elevation. That's the distance from the tree to the observer. So if that's O, where the observer is, and we have to find the height of the tree. So tan 34 equals h over 26. So h equals 26 times tan 34. If you put that in your calculator, you will get that the height of the tree is 17.54 meters, correct to 2 decimal places. The third example, the angle of elevation of a plane is 30 degrees. So there's the angle of elevation. If the plane is 800 meters above ground level, from there to there, find the value of d. That is the distance from here, that is below the plane, to the tower. So tan 30 tan 30 equals 800 over d. Multiply both sides by d, which gives us d times tan 30 is 800. So d equals 800 over tan 30, and if you use the calculator to solve that, it gives you d equals 1385.64 meters, correct to 2 decimal places. Now remember, we saw in the previous videos that you can also use this angle here. Even though that's the angle of elevation, if you want this letter to be in the numerator, you can just use that angle there, which is actually 60 degrees. Okay, so if you use that angle to find d, you'll end up with the same answer. So this video has introduced us to the idea of angle of elevation, and we've seen how to use the angle of elevation to solve some typical real-world problems.